Exercise 1. One of the difficulties associated with retailing services is control of the quality of service received by customers, and how the level of quality that can be expected in a retail outlet is communicated to customers. For example, in a hair salon, the quality of the product is dependent on the stylist's performance and how much the individual customer likes their new style. The satisfaction of the individual customer with the style produced and the quality of the service product can only be fully assessed when the styling is finished. However, customers are helped in their assessment of the essentially intangible product by tangible indicators such as the environment in which the styling takes place. If the salon is clean, with a fashionable decor, the stylists are carefully dressed and their styling qualifications accessible. This physical evidence will send positive messages to customers about the level of quality they are likely to receive in the service product. Service quality in services retailing is important because rising living standards make customers want a higher standard of service to match their general lifestyle. Exercise 2. It is possible that, in the context of political debates, television audiences' nonverbal behavior might influence their responses to candidates' performances. For example, research indicates that motor neurons and associated cognitive structures tend to produce mimicked responses to candidate behavior. That is, when seeing a candidate smile, an observer's facial muscles react by either smiling or preparing to smile. Furthermore, research indicates that authentic smiles produced during online embodied processing function to bias information processing in a positive way toward the stimulus. As such, when a candidate on screen is seen smiling, partisan audience members who mimic that smile may construct or reinforce positive beliefs about the candidate. It seems that giving voters access to information through debates between rival candidates can significantly improve their knowledge and increase democratic participation. Alternatively, when a partisan voter mimics a favored candidate's display of disgust during an opponent's speech, the voter's disgusted expression might reinforce his or her own negative emotional response to the candidate's opponent. Exercise 3. Not only architects are researching architectural subjects. A lot of researchers come from other disciplines with different research cultures. Hence, research approaches as well as research achievements are different. They are published in journals of each discipline, often not knowing from each other. Some are not even published, as they were done in offices and not labeled as research. In many areas of architectural research, the methodological, scientific work has long been established. These include, for example, the theory of architecture and history, but also the engineering disciplines of structures and building technology. The core discipline, architectural design, on the other hand, faces special challenges. The design process refers to many involved disciplines, such as construction, materials science, building physics, manufacturing technology, computer science, geometry, aesthetics, sociology, philosophy, and history. For architecture, it is essential that these disciplines do not remain separate in their consideration, but interlock in the planning, design, and implementation of architecture. This is probably one of the reasons why scientific work in the field of design is different compared to other fields. Exercise 4. Because the brain contains so many neurons, most of us can get through life without losing so many cells that we become mentally debilitated. Eventually, though, brain cell loss with age does catch up with us, and eventually mental deterioration takes place in virtually everyone. It's a mystery why some individuals maintain keen mental abilities much longer than do others. Indeed, it may be brain cell loss that determines human lifespan. If we could eliminate heart attacks, cancer, and other fatal diseases, we still might not extend the absolute lifespan of humans, because most brain cells cannot divide and replace themselves. Although the average life expectancy for humans has increased more than 60% since 1900, From about 50 years in 1900 to over 80 years today, the maximum number of years that humans live has not increased appreciably since ancient times. Exercises 5 and 6. Teams in sporting competition win or lose based on their ability to perform on the day and the extent to which they defeat their opponent. There are many examples across multiple sports where the most talented teams have lost to the underdogs. Games can change as a result of momentary slips in concentration, and teams can become paralyzed by the pressure of the big occasion. Understanding the factors that can cause a team to fail underpins the development of effective strategies to make sure that this failure is not repeated in the future. Taking this one step further can ensure that well-planned and well-thought-through strategies can prevent these failures from happening at all. Indeed, most sports teams will not reach many finals or frequently be in a position to win a league or a title. In view of this, taking the opportunity to learn from its mistakes might already be too late for the team. It thus makes more sense to plan effectively from the start, in essence, having all the bases covered to allow the team to achieve its potential rather than to try and fix a problem after the event, closing the gate after the horse is bolted. Whilst the retrospective approach is obviously possible, and many examples exist of teams who return to be successful, many other teams don't get another opportunity. It therefore makes sense for the team to do all it can to plan and prepare effectively to achieve the greatest potential for success. Team planning and effective preparation for the main factors that impact upon performance underpin consistent performance when it matters in many successful teams. For sports teams, these factors can be grouped into 5 main categories: technical, tactical, physical, psychological, and environmental factors. The team that considers each of these factors in turn will stand the greatest chance of living up to its potential and ultimately being successful and realizing its potential. Exercise 7. Food insecurity can be generated by dynamics that may appear overall positive. In many cities, gentrification, the process through which whole neighborhoods are revitalized through the influx of higher-income habitants, has undesirable collateral effects. The arrival of new dwellers in previously low-income neighborhoods often pushes real estate, rent, services, and food costs up. Small farm-to-table restaurants, gourmet cafes, and natural food stores open to cater to the needs and preferences of the newcomers. The markets that cities had built in previous decades to provide food for local dwellers of all walks of life are turned into glamorous food halls, leisure places for affluent customers and tourists. Abandoned factories and whole neighborhoods previously dedicated to industrial activities become hubs for food innovation, creative manufacturing, and intriguing new restaurants. However, prices inevitably increase, making finding affordable food difficult. The changes often end up forcing the poorest segments of the pre-existing communities to move to more affordable destinations. Exercise 8. The element of package design is crucial to the success of a product, because effective package design can ensure the product gains consumer notice, communicates information, and provides sensory stimulation to consumers. This importance is why manufacturers take great care when designing new packages. The literature in this area emphasizes the importance of package design as part of the total product, but little attention has been paid to the impact of the consumer's experience with the package on the evaluation of the product itself. Experiences range from an indirect experience of merely visualizing the product in a picture without physical interaction to a direct experience of handling or using the product and package. The findings give empirical support to the idea that the better the experience provided by the brand through its stores, the greater the likelihood that its consumers will become attached to the store brand. Researchers have suggested that valuable insights can be gained from exploring a consumer's evaluation of the package and its contents after a direct experience with the package instead of merely looking at a picture of the package itself. Exercise 9. Hydroponics is efficient in its use of water by recycling it within the closed-loop system and in the time it takes to grow finished produce. Lettuce, for example, only needs 26 to 30 days to mature, compared to the 45 to 48 days it takes in soil-based systems. Aquaponics not only has these benefits, but also brings fish into the equation. The fish obviously offer a new harvest of a different crop and also provide an organic food source for the hydroponic crops. By recirculating the fish waste water to the food crops, the fish waste is used up by the plants as a nutrient. This, in effect, polishes the water clean of the fish waste, and it is then recirculated back to the fish tank. Most aquaponic growers use fish that will be a good source, such as tilapia, but some are also raising species such as koi and goldfish, which are used in ornamental landscape ponds. It all depends on the type of fish the local market demands. For backyard production, it depends on the type of fish desired on the plate in the dining room. Tilapia and barramundi are two common species raised in aquaponics, but I have also seen systems raising trout, bass in Australia, and even freshwater shrimp in New Zealand. Exercise 10. It is a common belief in every culture that the fruits and vegetables which have the best flavor are nutritionally superior. It is logical that our tastes would have evolved to lead us to the most valuable foods. Whether taste reflects the quality and quantity of vitamins, minerals, and protein, or whether it is an index of other as yet undiscovered nutrients or properties of foods, has not been verified in the laboratory. Nevertheless, as a working hypothesis, it is probably safe to assume that produce which looks pretty but has no taste is less desirable in the diet. There are some clearly negative effects from tasteless fruits and vegetables. For example, if experiences with mealy, bland fruit cause a child to turn away from it, then he may lose his natural impulse to eat fresh food. His sense of taste may become diverted, and in a futile attempt to satisfy his body's needs, he may turn increasingly to artificially flavored and seasoned snack foods and sweets. Exercises 11 and 12. If you or someone you know suffers from attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, or attention deficit disorder, ADD, you know how difficult self-regulation or self-control can be. Teachers and parents can especially become frustrated when young people under their care can't control themselves. What part, if any, does the misuse of technology play in attention deficit disorders? I'm often asked that question as I speak to teachers and parents. Evidence is mounting that there is indeed a correlation. There are studies that link ADD to the overloading of working memory. Parents of children with ADHD are often perplexed because teachers complain that their child cannot focus in the classroom. Yet at home, the same child can play video games and watch television for hours at a time, totally focused. The reason a child, or anyone else for that matter, can focus on a screen for extended periods of time is because the dopamine reward circuit is being activated, which of course is very gratifying. The problem is that the attention and concentration needed for video games and television is not the same that is needed in school, as well as other areas in real life. On one hand, long periods of time in front of a screen may be the result of ADHD, and on the other, it might also be the cause. There are studies that show that young people who spend extended periods of time staring into screens are more likely to develop attention deficits later on in life. The fact is, technology can train you to lose focus, and technology itself may not be enough to help you get it back.